Hi, Hot Tops. I'm Marcus motherfucking Boston, the producer of High Off the Glass with O the Great.
Hey, everybody. I'm O the Great. That's Hater Boston over there. Hey, guys, thank you for checking out the show. We love you guys for paying attention to it. Please continue to do so at...
Follow the show on Instagram at High Off the Glass, on the Twitter at _glass, and that the is THA.
There it is. And myself, O the Great, OTHA Great. That's where we got the name from. On Twitter, OTHA Great _IG.
Follow the show on Facebook at High Off the Glass, and email the show with your dreams, hopes, and suggestions at highofftheglass@gmail, and that the is THA.
And we will read them. Check us out. He's a hater.
Please subscribe to the show. Okay, that's enough for me. Deaf enough for O. Enjoy the show.
I will be back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We have an exciting episode this week on High Off the Glass. How's everybody doing out there? Hello. All right, audience. Welcome. Everybody's so happy to be here today. We have a very special guest. As I have told you in the past, this show is the bridge, the marriage between the great all-time awesome sport, nothing better than basketball, and the marriage with it to marijuana, the greatest, I think, plant, flower, medicine on this planet. And today I have a guest who is here to enlighten myself and all of you about that particular plant. This woman works for a company called Weed Squad. You are going to be blown away by what they do. Her name is Jourdan. Hello, Jourdan. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Oh, real good. Oh, the fans, they're happy to see you. Thank you, Jourdan, for coming in the house today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming out to the
Thanks
Buddha
for
basement.
having me.
Oh, no problem. You want to do full names? I should have asked you that before we started. You want to do full name or just your first name?
Well, it's funny you should ask that. I actually go by two first names with my company. So, with my company and with my other job, I bartend as well. I go by Jourdan.
Okay.
But in my very close group of friends that I grew up with, two of them actually being my bosses with the Weed Squad, they call me Caroline.
Oh.
So that's been kind of a thing.
Wait, what? Okay, I know somebody like that.
Yeah, actually. So full name is Jourdan Caroline Heneisen. I still actually carry my ex-husband's last name.
Wow.
So, right, yeah, I've got a slew of names behind me. So legally, we just leave it at, Jourdan Caroline most of the time if I'm speaking to people. Heneisen gets a little bit much. It's a little bit of a mouthful. So
this was the thing that was funny to me when I saw your Jourdan name. How you have a U in there? Where'd that come from?
Oh, my mom, she's got a nice little knack for making the spellings of our names a little, peculiar, unique. She calls it unique. So that would be the French way of spelling Jourdan. When I was born, she wanted everyone to pronounce it Jourdan.
I knew it.
But since I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, that wasn't going to happen. So
Right, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Right.
Okay. I like that. And plus, your name, you're named after, hoping you were named after the goat.
Oh,
but it's probably something else.
No.
We'll jump into the basketball part of it later. But, man, your company, what you guys have started, this thing called Weed Squad. Let me tell you like this. I'm personally so excited to have you on today, Jourdan, because a friend of ours, I don't know if you know her, but it's a young lady named Sonia. She used to work at City Museum. She was like the art museum director down there. And she would rave about you guys because she had a friend that's with you guys with Weed Squad, and what you guys were doing, and how awesome it was. And then they're launching, and they want to talk. They want to have you on. They want to talk about it, but they're busy, and they're doing this and they're doing that. I was so excited, especially with this being a marijuana podcast. And then I look you guys up, and it's just you're doing everything. How'd you get involved? What made this? Oh my goodness.
So to kind of enlighten the guests on what it is that we do in a nutshell, as much as I can, slim it down a bit. We're a cultivation consulting firm.
Right.
So basically we're working with people that are certified, as medical patients and caregivers in the state of Missouri.
Okay.
If they have their cultivation license, we are able to basically set them up with whatever type of grow situation they are allowed to have.
Right.
But really, I mean, the grow situation isn't so much what you're allowed to have; it's how many plants you can have as a patient. So if you're a patient and you've got your allotment of 6 plants that you can grow, because right now that's the highest allotment that a patient can get in Missouri. But for those 6 plants, you need, X amount of space. We can come in, set you up a tent setup. We can do room builds. We also do basically A to Z training as far as cultivation is concerned.
Wow.
You can do an in-office consultation. We can come to your house and consult you if you are already cultivating. And a lot of people have already started. And this is kind of the thing. It takes a couple of years for people to realize that maybe they could get a better product if they knew what they were really doing. You can go on the internet and you can read and tutorials and this, that, and the other. But having somebody actually there that has done it, that's cultivated for years, there by your side, teaching you the do's and don'ts. It saves a lot of time, a lot of frustration, and a lot of dead plants.
Wow. Wow. So much to dive into. Okay. I want to jump in. First part of what you said, because you said 2 different things, especially about the people that are already cultivating. But I want to talk about the first end of what you said. That's what I noticed when I looked it up. Do you already have to be a caregiver, giving someone care to have you all come to my home and help me set up to grow, and because I have to get a license to have a plant because I'm trying to care for this person?
Correct.
Why is that?
So you have to be licensed by the state. You have to be a patient, not necessarily a caregiver. You can be a patient or a caregiver, and basically the only difference between the two is if you're a patient, that means you're growing for yourself or you're consuming for yourself. If you're a caregiver, actually, if you're a caregiver, you don't necessarily have to be a patient. Say you're somebody who doesn't use medical cannabis, but you have the grow room and the knowledge and the know-how and the time to grow for patients. You can grow for up to 3 patients. So you could be somebody that doesn't use medical cannabis, and you could be cultivating for up to 3 patients, 18 plants total. In flower, and another 18 in veg, and another 18 under, I think it's 12, 14 inches.
That's awesome. So, but those 3 patients, do all those people have to be documented and through the state?
Yes.
Okay. Now you said, and also if I can grow for myself if I'm a patient. Can I
Correct.
do that?
Yep.
Okay, so that's how a person will do it. If you don't have someone else that needs it, or that you're taking care of,
correct,
you do it for yourself. You put yourself down as a patient.
So the caregiver side versus the patient side is, yes, as a patient you can grow for yourself X number of plants. If you are a patient and you want to grow for somebody else, you would have to then become a caregiver. You would have to contact DHSS and become a caregiver. Right. So if you're a patient and you're, say, wanting to grow for another patient and you don't get the certification as a caregiver, then you're breaking the law. So at that point, because you can really only have those 6 plants for yourself.
Okay. So you do it for yourself, in which I'm just speaking for myself now, just like for the millions of people out there who are literally want it for them.
Correct.
Once you do that, how do you start that process? Do you have to be documented as a patient and get a medical card? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So basically the way you go about that, you go see a doctor, you get a doctor recommendation. There are several doctors here in the St. Louis area. There are a ton, actually, but all through the state of Missouri, Springfield, Kansas City, Columbia, you name it. They're out there. If you want to get a doctor certification, or if you have a primary physician who will give you that recommendation, your current primary physician can give you a certification.
Awesome.
However, a lot of them are not.
Right.
A lot of them are affiliated with hospitals, or they just have other beliefs and they don't do the recommendations. So you would go to a doctor, get a recommendation, take said recommendation, and that is going to be what you send into state of Missouri when you do your Missouri application. So you would do a Missouri application, you'd send in the recommendation with that application, and then the state of Missouri has 30 days to either approve or deny that application. If they do not get back to you within those 30 days, it is automatically approved.
Automatically approved. Okay, so if it's automatically approved, but they don't get back to me, am I issued a card? And if it is approved within those 30 days, am I issued a card?
Yes.
Oh.
They will send it to you in the mail. Or you can go on, I'm sure, I think actually they can send you a link and you can go on and print it. So
did you get a letter in the mail saying, yes, you're approved, no, you're not approved? Or do you get nothing saying, hey, we just messed up the time? I mean, what?
Basically, I think the only letter that you're getting in the mail is if you're not approved. Okay. If they reject it. And if they reject your application, they will tell you why.
Huh.
So, actually, some people's applications, unfortunately, have been rejected just for the wording being wrong about security. When they ask you about security, as far as your cultivation is concerned, they're not worried about lights, cameras, all of that. They're worried about you saying very specific words, which, if you want to, go into that further, we can go into that.
Please do.
But as far as the specific wording, it's, that you're, and I have to remember this word for word because it's almost a verbatim.
But don't word it like you're going to have it for possession.
So
for distribution.
Yeah. Basically, it has to be in a closed and locked facility,
right?
To which only the patient or caregiver has access to.
Okay.
That's all they're concerned with.
Okay.
So they just want to know that the letter of the law and the what was written into the amendment, Amendment 2. As far as, have you read that? Do you know that? Do you know that law? And by basically saying that, you know the law.
Well, that makes sense.
So
yeah, that makes sense. They just want to, they just want to cover their ass, and they don't want it to be on the street. This, that, and third.
Yeah.
But okay, so once I have that, I can grow for myself as a patient. Once I become one, and I become one once I have that card. That card is my medical marijuana card.
Yes.
And once I have that, I call you guys. And you guys help me set up, and I can have as many as 6.
Yes.
That's freaking awesome. Wow. So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Go ahead. I'm just thinking about that.
Well, and I mean, what's really cool about it right now is you're not going to really see much in the way of anything on the shelf that, say, a medical marijuana patient can go in and buy. You're not going to see that until next summer. We're talking, probably May at the earliest. June, pretty much, until you can buy something off a shelf. Because the growers and the dispensaries aren't going to have their licensing approved and in their hands until about January. And then you got to set up your facility. You've got to get everything growing. And then you've got to go through 3 months and then harvest and then cure and then put it on the shelves. So right now, if you want to grow at home and you're a medical patient, you could get a couple of harvests in.
Right.
At least 2 harvests in by that time.
Right.
So
and you can with this you have to legally you have to wait till January 1st. In that correct from the state of Missouri to do this or
no. To cultivate at home?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you can do it now.
You can do it right now.
Wow.
As soon as you get your patient card in your hand, you can grow.
That is awesome.
As long as you've got it behind closed lock facility and nobody can see it and, all of that. You can actually cultivate outdoors if your neighbors can't see it. So that's basically talking about a rural area, but it still has to be behind a fence or, it's got to have some closure,
So how much does it, I know you guys don't do this out of the kindness of your heart. When you all come to, you just love marijuana that much.
Right, sure.
So how much does it cost for Joe Smo, like me off the street, to have you come to my home and help me set up a grow system?
Oh, well, that would depend upon what type of grow system you want to do.
3 plants.
3 plants. If you want to do them in a closet, do you want to do them in a tent? Do you want to do them in a room that you frame out and put panda plastic on?
Closet.
Yeah, in a closet. So right now, 3 plants in a closet, I believe, and
that's too small. I'm sorry. No, that wouldn't be big enough, right?
Well, no, it would. It depends upon the size of the closet. So there are winter closet grow systems right now that we're setting up. Basically, if you have a 2 square foot closet, you can grow 1 plant. If you've got 4 square feet, you can do 2 comfortably. 3 pushing it, but 2 comfortably. But the recommended square footage for a closet grow space is going to be about 6 square feet.
Okay.
If you wanted to do 3 of them. And unfortunately, I don't have my pricing directly in front of me.
Oh.
It's upstairs.
All right.
So,
you don't want to give out the prices?
No. I would be more than happy to.
But you don't want to just go off the dome.
But I don't want to, I don't want to go straight off the cuff. I would say in the realm of probably $2,000.
Wow. That's for closet?
That's for closet.
So room, how much is room? Okay, what's the scale? Like what's smallest to biggest?
So smallest to biggest. Smallest is going to be a closet, like a winter closet system. And I say winter closet system because it's much easier to cool a closet that's running lights and all of that. It's much easier to control the temperature in the winter with a closet space than it is in the summer.
Right.
Especially if you live in any of these old houses in St. Louis, for sure.
You got that right.
But one plant, 2 square feet. Closet space, and then pretty much you would jump up if you wanted to do, largest closet that we kind of recommend is 8 square foot closet.
Okay.
Which is basically like a miniature room build out at that point.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so then you would go up to your tent systems. And your tent systems, you're going to go anywhere from a 2-plant tent system to a 6-plant tent system. But, if you know what you're doing with trimming, and if anybody's ever done a sea of green or seen a sea of green cultivated in, say, Colorado or California, you can fit 18 in a 6-plant.
18 plants?
Yeah.
So, and how big a tent?
Well, in a 5x5 tent setup, it's 5x5 by, say, 7 feet tall. I think it's 80 inches. Exactly.
Yeah, you could fit,
but you can fit 18, and the way you're doing that is by how you trim, and then when you put them into flower.
Yeah.
So say if you want to put them into flower a little early, and you trim them up to where you've only got the top colas going,
right? They
all stay small and not branched out and all that, and you just basically take all the top colas, all the top buds per se. So yeah.
When you have a system like that and space is so tight, when you have to manicure the flower, do you do it in the tent, or do you pick the pot up, take it outside, and then do it? Like, do you have room to do it there? Is it okay to move it? Do you not want to move it as much? Like, how does that work?
No, you would leave it in there. You can, if you're doing a hydroponic system or you're, say, doing them in pots, we actually kind of recommend, and what we specialize in is a organic living soil bed, which would be the bed of basically the square footage of the tent. There's a bed of soil that sits in there.
Oh, the whole thing. Okay.
And within the whole thing.
Yeah.
You can do other methods. You can do them in pots, or you can, we've got Geo pots that work really well. Smart Pots is another brand that work really well.
Okay.
That you can do, and then you can basically take them out and trim them. The thing is with removing the plants for trimming or anything like that, and there is room in the tent.
Oh, okay.
For you to I mean,
especially in your system, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm 5'8", 5'9", and I can reach pretty much all the way to the back of the tent, to cultivate. It's not a hard space to move around in, but removing your plants in and out of the tent, you're risking contamination with pests and disease as far as mites, mold, all that kind of stuff, powdery mildew. So it goes on and on, but it helps with cross-contamination. Tent setups are actually really, really nice to prevent a lot of pest and disease issues.
So how much is it? Was that like 4? How much is that?
The 5x5 6-plant tent setup, I believe, was looming around just pushing over $5,000. That's for the entire setup.
But what if I want a tent system, but not that many?
If you want to do a smaller tent system, it goes down from there. $4,000, about $3,500, somewhere in there.
Okay.
But what these tent systems are including, it's not just the grow tent. I mean, it's coming along with
everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Your lights, humidity, temp controls, blue mat system for watering, which is a smart watering system. Saves you a lot of time and aggravation. But yeah, I mean, it's coming in with a lot. And it's also coming in with support from us. If we come in and set you up a tent system, you're getting tech support from us. You're getting at least 2 house calls if you need it.
Wow.
Once we set you up.
This is such an ingenious I kind of want to get to the biggest setup, but which is of course with the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the caregiver room.
Wow.
So that's the room build out that would house 18.
Okay.
And it would also have a separate room for mothers and a cloning station and a curing station. And I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, because you've got to have room. I mean, if you're going to grow 18 plants and you're going to cure all of that at once during harvest, you've got to have somewhere to start your clones, to rotate your new plants in, to hold, your veg plants, your flower plants, your mother plants.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big production if you're going to do that.
Wow.
So when we've simplified the process as much as possible.
Right.
Especially with the organic living soil, really simplifies it. You're not doing bottled nutrients and hauling water around to do hydroponics and all of that. So it's a little different, but we've tried to make it as easy and user friendly as possible. And that's kind of what we're there to set up for people. It's user friendly marijuana growing, but also trying to guarantee you, that you're going to grow some of the best organic medicine possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you hear this? Jourdan, I'm on cloud nine. Just listening to the way you break it down, the way you talk. I am literally so excited. It's just, I want to go so many places. I want to jump into the room, but I want to go back to this. This is such an ingenious idea and plan. And how does it work? Where did you come in at? Who created this? What, where, and how? Like, what the fudge?
Right. So it all started probably with Robert Stewart, who is our COO or Chief Operating Officer.
Okay.
He was the founder. He and Morgan, his fiance, basically started this from the ground up.
Are they from St. Louis here?
They are from St. Louis.
Okay.
They have worked on grows out west. Both of them, I believe Robert's got about 15 years cultivation experience.
In where?
Between California, Colorado, Oregon, a lot of Northern Cali though.
Okay. San Fernando?
Humboldt County, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Oh yeah, right there, that triangle where a lot of the yes.
Right, the triangle.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Right.
Right.
So he's got a lot of growing cultivation experience. Morgan herself has a lot of cultivation experience. They both, she is really the hands-on cultivator.
Okay.
Robert, it's been a while since Robert's actually planted a plant. I think it's been maybe a couple of years since he put his hand on a plant to actually plant it. But once you come back to St. Louis and you want to get, real with it here, and you want to start setting this up, you can't be, messing around with planting bud plants, you're like, hey, I don't want to risk the legality, and since you can't cultivate or couldn't cultivate, I guess, so it's been a couple of years. He had to come back here, to kind of, start the business and be all legal eagle about it, so it's been a couple of years, but Morgan's gone back out, she's our cultivation specialist. She kind of does a lot of the traveling of, she's really somebody that's awesome with mother plants and clones. She's kind of a wizard with mother plants. It's pretty amazing.
Wow.
But yeah, she's I guess been doing this, I don't know, just right under 12 years, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's Robert and say her name again?
And Morgan.
Morgan, and then it's husband wife, and they're doing this together.
Yeah, they're not married yet officially, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's coming up.
I don't know where I got husband and wife from. Okay, all right.
That fiance. Yeah. So they've been doing this together for quite some time. Coming back and when I started cultivation, consulting company isn't something that was just pulled out of thin air. Being in other states, there are consulting firms.
That's just where I was going to go with it. Like, they obviously saw it in California and Colorado first. And was like, boom, Missouri needs this. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and those consulting firms have done, fairly well. A lot of them have actually said, starting out with a consulting firm, it may take a couple years for people to learn that they're making some pretty monumental mistakes and that they could be doing it differently and saving themselves a lot of frustration, which is then when they turn to the consulting firms. So we're getting in this very early, but knowing full well that there are plenty of patients that have never cultivated indoor anything, not a tomato, basil plant, nothing, and if you want to grow outdoor, Missouri, cool, but pest and disease control in Missouri is rough. The humidity and the heat and all that here. About the mosquitoes and everything in this area.
Yeah. I've lived there for 18 years. I know how St. Louis weather is. It's a mother.
Yeah. Even having an outdoor vegetable garden here is can be kind of tough. So, but yeah, cultivating outside, you've got a shorter grow season, all that. So, and as far as, keeping things private, I don't know how many medical marijuana patients really want to just be loud about it, and out front in somebody's face, like, hey, yeah, I'm cultivating, and which is why, obviously, they don't want your neighbors to be able to see it. But still, they want to be as private with it as possible.
Yeah.
And in-home cultivation is definitely a way to do that.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be happy when that we can take that stigma away of having to hide everything with marijuana.
Absolutely.
I hate that to its core. I've never felt I've never felt like, I have marijuana. Let me hide in the shadows. Oh, I don't want anybody to see. I didn't really give a shit. You know,
right?
To me, if you can walk around and smoke that funky ass cigarette, and you don't feel any shame, then why in the hell should I feel bad from smoking this? And this is better for me.
Sure.
I mean, this helps me.
Sure.
That doesn't do anything but fuck my body up.
Well, I've been a bartender 12 years.
Oh, you have to breathe that shit in.
I mean, it's not just that. I mean, it's what are we serving?
Exactly.
Every day.
Exactly.
You want to talk about people going out and getting in car wrecks and messing up their lives with DUIs?
Come on. I did papers on that.
Right,
yep.
Right.
I'm here with you, sister. Okay.
It's a hands down argument when you compare it to alcohol, and that's something that I've been able to reference and go back to several times.
Right.
People are like, "Oh, marijuana's dangerous." I'm like, dude, I didn't even. Talk about gateway drugs. Alcohol was the gateway drug. It wasn't until I had a little alcohol in my system that I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to try mushrooms, or I think I'm going to try a little bit of something else.
Yeah.
That's where it let in, man. When I smoked marijuana, I was sitting on my couch, kind of either giggling at something funny on TV, or chatting with some friends, or eating, snacking on something, or taking a nap. Whatever. So I wasn't out. I wasn't out hurting anybody.
I don't like to call it. That goes into the name of you guys' company. I don't like to call it weed. I like to say any other name but that. But weed naps are the best.
Weed naps are the best.
You know what I'm saying? But here's something else though. Something else that you just said that's crazy. They're starting up here. They knew about the cultivation from, other cultivation companies from the other states they lived in. But now there's competition here for that.
Yeah.
Where the hell did this come from? Like,
it popped up real fast.
When did you guys pop up, by the way? Like, what? And how did you hook up with Robert and Morgan?
So I've known Robert. I've known Robert since I was probably 17, 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
I worked with his ex-wife, Shannon. We're all friends. It's all a big old happy family. So when I say ex-wife, I don't mean that in any negative way.
Okay.
But I worked with his ex-wife at Trader Joe's for a couple of years.
Okay.
And so just got to know more, then it was Shannon and Robert at that point. And then Shannon kind of moved out of state, went and did her thing when they divorced, and I stayed friends with Robert. We were always in the Soulard area.
Okay.
I've been working at the same bar for 12 years.
Right.
So yeah, we just always kind of hung out. And then of course when he got together with Morgan a couple of years later, that was just kind of organic. She's a really cool chick, and we got along great. So I've known them, since I was Robert since I was about 18, and Morgan since I was probably about 22,
That's
23.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what was the first year that the first life of Weed Squad was thought of? What year was that?
Oh, the inception.
Yeah. Genesis, if you will.
The genesis of the Weed Squad. That was probably 2 years ago.
Wow. 2017.
Yeah, I mean, to seriously get a plan together of what we wanted to do.
Right.
Everybody was going for cultivation, as far as dispensaries, grow operations.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about competition with us, with our company, there's far more competition with dispensaries and grow operations.
Okay, that's where I wanted to go. Okay, so just trying to create a timeline for anybody listening, and definitely for myself. So 17 is when you first heard about it, when they dropped the idea on you, and you guys became an official company when?
We became an official company. I think we had our LLC and everything together. What was it, January of this year? So 19.
Wow.
January 19.
January 2019. And now, where the hell and when did this competition come from? What the freak? What happened?
Oh man. So competition. I mean, so like I said, they weren't the only ones to have the idea, and seeing it, and there's a lot of other people that have seen the idea.
Right.
So of course, there's going to be a few companies that are going to pop up, but we've got probably, I think right now, about 5 competitors directly in the St. Louis area. Now, the good thing is we're located at 8088 Watson Road. So we are near, Watson and the Cleed station.
Okay.
So we're not too far from here, about 15-minute drive for me to go from Soulard to work.
Okay.
So real close, but we're in a different area. Our competitors, We've got one in St. Charles.
Okay.
We've got one downtown.
Wow.
But the rest of them are a little bit more spread out.
That's cool. We don't even need to talk about them.
Yeah.
More importantly about you guys, it's just I'm just such a fan. I'm just so excited right now. Where'd the name come from? What's happening with that? And I heard something about you want to talk about that, or you don't want to talk about that?
Well, I can talk about it a little bit. So,
okay. If you want to skip over it, you can too.
No, it's fine. I mean, I can touch on it a little bit.
Okay.
So the name, of course,
where did it come from?
The Weed Squad. So you remember the Mod Squad back in the day?
Yeah.
So we got the Mod Squad.
Yeah.
We've had
Link, and I don't know nobody else.
So
I was too young for it.
But we've had a lot of, we didn't want to be so serious about it. We didn't want to be the firm, we didn't want to be, some fancy name that gave somebody the wrong impression that we're there to, come in, do this job, and be a separate, entity from them. We are in this with them.
Right.
We've been advocating for the legalization of medical marijuana for years.
Yes.
Our research and development guy, Chris Chesley, hats off to him. Mm-hmm. He has been really, really in it. He's part of Greater St. Louis NORML. And he's been lobbying and all this for years.
Wow. So you mean to tell me someone on your board has been in NORML for the last how many years?
Oh, God. I don't know how long Chris has been a part of it, but I can probably guesstimate at least 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But when I say in it, I mean, he actually helped write some of the legislation that went into Amendment 2.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
Yeah, no, it is. It's amazing.
Wow.
So we wanted to just be a little more casual about it. What's a name that, everybody can kind of get behind? It's the Weed Squad.
Yeah.
It's just kind of fun.
Super cool.
So, and chill, a little more relaxed.
Right.
We're your neighbors. We're your friends. We've been in your community for years and years. I've been born and raised in St. Louis.
Yeah.
I'm 32 now, and, I love my community. And I want everybody to kind of understand that, we're local. We're here. We are changing our emblem, our logo, if you will, and I can get into that real quickly.
Yeah.
So right now, our logo,
why.
we had a certain large corporation that wasn't real happy about our logo,
right,
who sent us a cease and desist that we kind of had to deal with here for the past couple months. Thank you, large corporation, for letting us keep our domain that you wanted.
Yay!
Yay! But we did agree to change our logo.
I'll be honest with you, I like the new one better.
Well, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's it's a little more St. Louis based. It's got the fleur de lis. It's got a nice weed leaf in there, of course.
Right.
And the thing is with the Weed Squad, and a lot of people are like, well, isn't that kind of in people's faces? And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that's part of breaking the stigma about it. It's here.
There it is.
It's here.
There it is.
It's not going anywhere. Get used to it. And a lot of people hate using the word weed.
Yes.
It's just kind of street slang for marijuana, ganja, cannabis, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But it's here. And we did kind of like being out front and open. We've got a large sign on Watson Road, super busy thoroughfare. People see that every day.
Nice.
Whether they want to see it or not.
Oh, I'm going over there.
They can look up
I
and see
can't wait to go.
and the office is real cool. Real comfy.
I am driving over there tomorrow.
You should definitely stop
by. Yes, ma'am. I would do that.
So, not tomorrow. Our office hours are Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay.
So, Wednesday through Sunday, noon to 7.
Right.
Most of the people that are going to be coming in our office are not rolling out of bed before 8, 9.
Can I tell you?
I don't know.
I tell you, these people? I mean, they make it's so smoker friendly at their place of employment. You don't have to be to work till noon, y'all.
Right.
Noon, and you get off at 7.
Yeah.
Where they do that at?
Right.
At the Weed Squad, I guess.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dopest thing in the world. I want to go back. One thing you said that definitely struck me is the stigma. I'm so sick of the fucking stigma, and I kind of mentioned that earlier, and that's why That's why I started this podcast.
Sure.
That's why I wanted to have people like you on. Yeah. That's why I want to smoke before we do it. Sure. That's why in the near future we'll be smoking while we do it. Sure. You know, smoking is not the end of the world. It doesn't make you retarded. It doesn't throw off this. It doesn't do all that. All it does is make you better. Yeah. It makes you more at ease. Sure. You know, and it affects different people in different ways. Yeah. But I just hate the fact that people have to feel so, people sometimes, and I don't understand this, they're more acceptable, or they won't freak out so much with cocaine around, but let somebody mention marijuana or pull out a joint, they're like,
sure.
What the fuck is that?
Sure. Well, I mean, because, just like our company, weed is pretty much in your face. If you're smoking flower, you're gonna see it. Yeah. You're gonna smell it. Yeah. And it is in your face. Right. Cocaine, you go hide in some bathroom, chop up some lines, put them up your nose. Nobody knows about it. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Or if it's on the table, you don't smell it. Yeah. You don't really know it's there unless you look over. Yeah. So. Yeah. Those things can be hidden. All those hard drugs, they hide those hard drugs. Yes. Yes. Because they're hard drugs. Mm-hmm. One, they don't want to share. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna, they're gonna run off with it. But two, it's still, it is still that still carries a pretty heavy stigma. But yeah, as far as cocaine, being in the bartending industry, let me tell you, you're right. People definitely don't seem to have as much of an issue with that as they do with somebody smoking weed. Yeah, it's but weird. I think it is because it can be kind of loud. Yeah. You can kind of just, smell it walking down the sidewalk.
If it's not loud, it's not good.
Right.
I mean, shit's supposed to be loud.
Right.
Shit, I mean, that's just how it is. But, I just can't wait for the walls to be torn down by that. Yeah. If this podcast helps in any way, shape, or form for that, I can't wait.
Sure.
I really
there's a lot of things that people can do though to help on the opposite end of you're doing your podcast and you're getting this out there, but people can go out to some of these events. There are tons of events in St. Louis. As far as there was actually a Breaking the Stigma event that we just attended 2 months ago.
Speak on it, Jourdan. Talk about these businesses and these groups that are funding these or putting these groups, these events together.
Sure. There's tons of businesses that are putting them together. Just a few of them. Missouri Cannabis Business Association has put on quite a few events. The Weed Squad, we put on events every month or so, every couple of months we try to. Right. Expenses are expenses. We try to keep the cost low for people that are coming to attend, maybe $10 a ticket, $15 a ticket.
Not bad.
But these events are really, really important, grassroots events, to get people out and to be public about it and to talk to each other and to make themselves known, so and open to patients and vendors and sponsors alike. But there's ICI here in St. Louis, Intuitive Cannabis Industries. They created an app. It's actually the app that I'm rocking right now. Yeah. It's the
Show Me Canna. Show that to the camera.
Show Me Canna.
Show that to the camera and then make sure get you in there.
The Show Me Canna hat. It's an app for your iPhone or Android. It's a free app. You can download it and start looking around on there.
That's awesome.
It's got event calendar. It's got, attorneys. It's got financing. It's got consultants. We're on there. If you click under consultants, who's hiring in the industry. People that are hiring, what jobs they're hiring for.
And that's all just here in Missouri.
Yeah, that's all here in Missouri. That is very St. Louis, very local to St. Louis, but it does cover events in other areas, Columbia, Jeff City, KC, all of our little sister cities here in Missouri.
Do you know the people who run that?
That is Chris and Lou. I'm trying to think of Chris's last name right now, and it's escaping me.
Jourdan, don't worry about it. Please tell them that. Give them my information so they can be on the show.
Oh, absolutely. And you would love Lou Moynihan. Actually, he's quite a character. Yes. So he actually does a lot of the promotional work. I actually started helping us with a lot of promotional work. Starting out when I didn't know what I was doing as the marketing and office manager. Right. So he's a pretty cool guy. I will definitely hand him your info.
Please, I'm putting that on you.
For sure.
I need to have him on. You're my hookup. Please do it.
For sure. Absolutely.
Right on.
Absolutely.
That's such an awesome thing they do. I've heard about, I remember it was someday I talked about it on one of my earlier episodes. I'm randomly driving down, is it, not Chippewa,
Cherokee?
Jefferson and, what's that other main one? Gravois.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going down Jefferson and Gravois, minding my own business, and out of nowhere, boom, at the corner at that gas station is a big old, not big old sign, you had to be paying attention. It was kind of rectangular, it was green and white, said cannabisdoctors.com, 1-800-CANNABIS, and call and we will set you up with an appointment for your doctor, and da-da-da-da-da. And
sure.
that was just back when I first started this show, which was about March, April.
Yeah.
So it's just so crazy. Like, if you would have asked somebody that 5 years ago, do you think you would walk down the street and see something that would suggest where you can go to get a medical card for marijuana? Person would laugh at you and keep walking. It's the progression of it and how the stigmas are coming off, not fast enough for me, but they are, though. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. But Show Me Canna is that, but way more, the entire spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, that's the entire spectrum. And do I think that 5 years ago, anybody that's not in the cannabis industry, I think, if you asked them 5 years ago, if you would walk down the street and see a sign like that, no, I think they would have absolutely been like, that's never going to happen. Cool. It's Missouri. Right. Never going to happen.
Yeah.
As far as, Show Me Canna, and yes, you can find doctors, you can find all of that and more. As far as, getting your medical card or finding out how to do the application. Actually, I think if you go on there, Lou has set up a nice little questionnaire to see if you are eligible. Now, and it's not covering everything, but it's just kind of a base start. Are you eligible to be a medical marijuana patient?
Nice.
It is amazing what qualifies you to be a medical marijuana patient.
Right.
This is not Illinois. We put in a lot of qualifying conditions into the amendment. So unlike Illinois, that when they went medical, it was a very short list and you pretty much had to be on your last leg. So
whoa. So you're confusing me. So Illinois, it's easier or harder?
Well, Illinois now is going to be recreational. If you want to be a medical marijuana patient in Illinois, it was very difficult.
Wow.
But now they've passed legislation to go recreational January 2020.
Okay. But recreational and medical is not the same thing.
No. Recreational, you don't have to have a card.
Yeah.
You just have to have your state ID, and that's it.
Yeah, there's a dispensary over there.
And you can you can go across the river and you can buy it with a Missouri ID.
Yeah.
Just fine.
Yeah.
But it's bringing it back across state lines is a felony because it's a federal offense. Because then you've crossed state lines.
Yeah.
So even though it's legal there and it's medically legal here, if you don't have your medical card in Missouri, then it's a state issue, but just crossing that river, federal issue.
Yeah, we can't wait till it's recreational here. That's coming.
I'm betting 2 more years.
Yeah, not soon enough. We need it on the next next state voting, whatever the hell.
Oh, absolutely.
Last but not least, you know what? This is we're gonna have to make this a short episode, everybody, because I have entirely too many questions for this lovely woman and what she does and about her. But we got to wrap this thing up. My producer's got to go to work. We're regular folks. This is how
everybody's
it goes.
Got a second or third
job.
You know
what I'm saying? That's not mean shit. We're grinding out here. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes.
Sure. I'd be more than happy to come back.
Thank you, Jourdan. We need you to come back.
And I'd be more than happy to pass your information on to Lou and Chris over at ICI and try and get them in here too.
Anyone that you know of, and I think you know a ton of them that have a love for marijuana that like you and I have.
Sure.
I would love to talk with that person and have the person on the show. And if they know anything about sports, that's even better.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But let them have a love for marijuana. You're always welcome here. That's how it works at High Off the Glass.
Well, and Omar, I would love to have you to our next event. It's November 16th.
Oh.
It's South Broadway Athletic Club.
Yes.
From 3 to 7.
Right up the street.
Yep.
Say that again. Say that. Where is it at?
That is at the South Broadway Athletic Club in Soulard. And that is going to be from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock on November the 16th.
November the 16th.
Yes.
South Broadway.
You can check it out at, we're on Facebook, the Weed Squad LLC on Facebook, or you can go onto our website, which is theweedsquad.com.
Nice.
Pretty simple. So
Nice.
we do have it on our events calendar and everything popping up on Facebook. Well, we don't have it on there yet. We'll have it on there this week. I go into the office Wednesday.
Right,
so.
Right. That's awesome. What are you guys going to be doing at the event?
We're going to have Dr. Batista Strong, which is one of our referring doctors that we love to send people to. She was really awesome.
Okay.
Coming in and talking about ganja consumption of the entire plants, basically Eastern medicine side of ganja where it started, and the Ayurvedic approach to ganja consumption. So
I can't wait to learn what that word means.
I know.
Oh.
So and then our COO Robert is going to be speaking, giving a little bit of a demonstration, and then we'll have some vendors there. We've got some hot dogs, burgers at the kitchen, open bar. All that. I'll be there. You can say hi to me.
Can we smoke in the facility?
You cannot smoke in the facility if you have your patient card.
Right.
If you're a patient, you can medicate.
Right.
But can't smoke in the facility.
That sounds good. Well, hopefully that'll change soon.
Yeah.
But Jourdan, this was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Seriously, you're gonna come back, right?
Yeah.
Because I have I got a ton more questions.
We'll set it up.
And try not to sneeze on the mic. Just thank you again, Jourdan. This was a pleasure. You enlightened me and my audience on this awesome flower that has given us so much.
Yeah,
we need to give it more.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
All right, Miss Lady. Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of High Off the Glass. Man, this was a good one, wasn't it, guys? Wasn't it? We're going to come back and do it next week. And check out the NBA preview episode. That should be dropping pretty soon. Actually, you know what? You're probably going to hear that after this. Yeah, shouldn't have said that. How was that NBA preview episode? Wasn't it good? All right. Hey, love you guys. Keep hooping. We out. Peace.